I love my Thanksgiving turkey, but I think we all just need to stop trying to make it taste good. A modern factory farm turkey breed just doesn't taste like very much, and it tends to be dry. Turkey with roast turkey gravy, however, does taste like something, and it's as moist as you want it to be. Just put more gravy on. Turkey with gravy is a perfectly effective and elegant binary system. The meat provides the structure and nutritional substance, while the gravy birthed from the meat provides the moisture and the flavor. It's a beautiful, perfect marriage, but for some reason we just can't seem to be satisfied within it. Some of us are obsessed with making turkey meat that can go it alone, that is moist and flavorful enough by itself, because why? I would argue this obsession is not only pointless, we're trying to fix what ain't broke, it's also counterproductive, because the things that we do to improve the flavor and texture of the meat tend to ruin the gravy, or in some cases prevent the gravy from ever existing in the first place, which is the real tragedy. Let's examine these follies one by one. I'm going to start with the big one, which is brining. I'm mixing up a solution that's 4 or 5% salt by weight. That's weak as far as brine solutions go, and in goes the chicken. Why am I demonstrating this with a chicken and not a turkey? Because I don't have a vessel large enough to keep a turkey submerged, and I'm guessing you probably don't either. And even if I did have a vessel big enough, I wouldn't have room for it in my refrigerator, especially not around the holidays. This is the kind of thing that professional chefs blithely recommend to us home cooks, without considering the fact that we lack the enormous vessels and walk-in refrigerators that they take for granted. Certainly many people have come up with great home hacks for brining a turkey, but is it worth it? You roast the bird, and sure, the brine chemically alters the muscle, making it retain water while also seasoning the meat throughout. But watch what happens when you make your gravy. Even if you forego the salty carton broths and just use water, the gravy still ends up inedibly salty. And that was with a 4% salt solution. Some people use twice as much salt in their brine. Now, if a gravy or a sauce is too salty, you can always dilute it with more liquid and some starch or something to thicken it. But at that point, your gravy is going to stop having that delicious roast turkey dripping flavor. Brining ruins the gravy, all in the name of making the turkey moist, which drowning it in gravy accomplishes anyway. Now let's talk about basting. There is absolutely no reason to believe that basting a turkey in its own juices makes the meat underneath more juicy. In fact, many experimenters have empirically disproven that notion. Basting can help to build a golden brown and delicious surface on roasted meat, and I do it with some of my roasts, but generally not with a bird with skin on it. Why? Because basting fills the skin with water. It makes the skin soft and gummy at the end. It also lets heat out of the oven, which slows down cooking, and it's just generally a pain to do. There is no point to basting a turkey. I reckon the reason that basting used to be very, very popular is that it helps you to get an even brown coating, even when you're using a primitive cooking method that's going to apply uneven heat. Okay, so then there's deep frying a turkey. The only reason I'm showing YouTube's finest B-roll of deep fried turkey fails is because it's funny. I think backyard deep frying is fine if you want to do it, and it gives you a pretty juicy turkey, probably because the heat transfer is really effective and therefore the turkey cooks really quickly, and also because oil is hydrophobic. It's going to discourage evaporation. But there shall be no gravy. There are no drippings. You do you, but to me, a Thanksgiving turkey without real roast turkey gravy is just kind of like oats without hull. It's good, I guess. Spatchcocking. That's when you cut the backbone out of a bird so that you can spread it out flat. Again, there's a reason I'm showing you this on a chicken, not a turkey. You ever spatchcocked a turkey? I have. You need a bone saw. I mean, not literally. I did it with a stout German chef's knife and my kitchen shears, but it was really hard, and I've got pretty good grip strength. It was also kind of gruesome. Spatchcocking helps the bird cook a little quicker. It gets you nicer skin on the dark meat that would normally be getting wet down there on the bottom of the pan. You want to do it? I think that's awesome. Give it a shot. But again, it looks kind of gruesome, and the dark meat comes out undercooked to my taste. I like my dark meat cooked to smithereens, and I reckon that you would too if you gave it a shot. How do I do that? Well, this is the only unusual or extra thing that I do when I roast my birds. I cook them on the stovetop first, nice and slow for a long time, maybe a half hour for a turkey. The dark meat is on the bottom and it gets all the heat when you do this. The white meat is untouched during this process. It also builds a lot of fond on the roasting tray, which makes for more flavorful gravy. Now, I realize this is a family program, so parents who are watching this with kids right now, be warned, I'm about to draw an analogy between the culinary culinary and love-making arts. However, I'm going to do it in an oblique and advertiser-friendly way, so it should be fine. People who insist that their white meat be moist and flavorful without the aid of gravy kind of remind me of guys who insist that their lady friends be fulfilled exclusively via one particular method without the aid of any supplemental methods. I mean, they can insist all they want and it probably won't matter, but they definitely will sulk and feel as though the enterprise has been a failure if the mission objective has been achieved bilaterally. And that's just lame, right? Turkey plus gravy. It works. Let it work.